about what sites you're on.
No, but still is, what do you know? What's your experience? Where you went to college? It still matters.
It does still matter. In fact, they will tell you that, resumes and CVs traditionally answer 4 questions. Where did you go to school? Where have you worked? What skills have you acquired? And what have you published? The difference is, though, most of us aren't doing traditional job functions anymore where we live a career of our lives in one place for 5 years, 10 years. We bounce around a lot. And we bounce around between startups to commercial enterprises to government enterprises. So it becomes very difficult to paint a very clear picture of who you are. That's where these social networking sites and these new kinds of tools can really help you, because they are very niche sites and you can reach and have the kind of reach you never could have had without these sites there today. Some of the ones I'll share with you. LinkedIn, let me just start with that one, because it has passed 100 million users this year, which is a very, very significant number of people to be on a site. That said, innovation at the company is stagnant. In other words, they've kind of capped out on what they could have offered as a site. So now you have a few new ones that are coming to the mix. Zerply is another one, which lets you create a social network that has your online profile, resume, or digital business card all right there.
Yeah.
So instead of giving someone your business card now, all you have to do and say is, look me up at Zerply, just like you're used to now saying, find me on LinkedIn.
Now,
right?
How has that changed? Let me tell you, when we were growing up, our parents and our aunts and uncles always say, tell me, show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are. So this is what is happening up there. Yeah, I know which school you went to, what kind of an experience you have. Now tell me who your friends are. And some of these LinkedIn sites give you who your friends are.
Exactly. I was going to say, where the traditional resume only asked you 4 questions, what these new sites do is they answer that 5th question. Whose company do you keep?
There you go.
Who are you connected to?
Yeah.
Who do you know? And how far does your reach into that network go? How influential are you?
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that are going to matter for the rest of this century and beyond. So the way in which we surface ourselves to our employers has radically changed, and we have to be much more careful now about what information actually makes it out there. As you've seen so many times, employers are paying attention to sites like Facebook. They will find you on LinkedIn. They will understand who you are, how much you party, who you hang out with, what kinds of activities you engage in before they make their decision to employ you. So it's a double-edged sword. You have to use these tools the right way so that you can find the right kind of job in the future.
Yes, I fully agree with that. Folks, many of you are going to go to school, and you may be thinking about taking student loans, and you need to be aware of that the student loans cannot be defaulted on. If you default on a student loan, regardless of whether you have declared bankruptcy, that student loan stays.
Really?
Along with all the charges for the default. And they can garnish your wages, they can take away from your Social Security, they can take away from your tax returns. In other words, student loan you cannot default on. It's never considered default. Now, if you had a credit card, you declare bankruptcy, washed out in the bankruptcy court. If you cannot pay your mortgage, fine, they'll take over your house. But student loan stays forever. And for-profit colleges, they're the ones, 20% default rate among their students, versus 10% for the regular students. Still a very high default rate.
It's very tragic, actually.
It is very tragic, particularly nowadays when education costs you so much.
Not only that, but you have so many workers who are unemployed, who are trying to get back into a new kind of employment. They're trying to get new skills. They're going back to school to do it. They can't find the money, so these for-profit colleges come along, and they're offering these great student loans at these great rates, and you think, hey, this is my ticket to finding a new kind of life. Only if you don't succeed for any reason, or you're not able to finish, now you've got a kind of loan strapped to you that you can't get rid of.
That's right. I mean, this stays forever. And if your parents have co-signed it, they will be responsible too. It's not that you're the only one responsible or you are gone and only your parents have to pay. No, both of you are stuck on that loan. So student loan is a very, very difficult loan. See if you can borrow money from your parents. See if you can borrow money from your rich aunt and uncle.
It's easy to get into and difficult to get out of.
Or take a personal loan. Don't get into a student loan unless you fully know that you are going to pay and this is going to be the right thing and that you will have help in case you cannot.
Well, this is a sign of the times. The New York Times is actually launching a new site called India Inc.
Wow.
Which I think is phenomenal because it really speaks to how much our diaspora is growing. And not just growing, but influential over other diasporas. This was great. New York Times, India Inc. provides a distinct perspective on the news and events that matter most to Indians and those who follow news about India, both on the subcontinent and abroad. The influential U.S. Daily announced on Sunday. So in other words, they're really recognizing that our diaspora is very unique in certain ways. For one, we keep close ties to back home.
Yes.
And we also keep very close ties amongst the community here. And we are starting to participate much more so on the political scene, on the political front. And let's not underestimate the influence of Bollywood here either. Because as Indians, we are one of the most highly mobile immigrant communities across the globe. You will find Indians everywhere, across every nation, every country. So I think New York Times is just the pioneer in this, and to some degree they're going to set the trend for these media outlets to focus on diasporas and niches to try to grow and sustain their business.
That's the first attempt by New York Times to actually start making money from Indians. Good luck.
I just like the idea of having a concentrated media source on our community.
Absolutely. It is wonderful to know that, you know. By the way, folks, everybody knows Tata Motor Company, and if they make nanos. You know, nanos have really gone down. 1,208 nanos were sold in the month of August.
That's it.
That's it. 1,208. They have to sell up to 20,000 nanos per month to make any money.
I'm surprised because you would think that the Indian population is ripe for a car like the Nano.
They are not. They're really in a terrible shape with that. They may have to quit. But before they quit, they thought it would be a very unique thing. You know, Tata owns gold stores. The name is Gold Plus Stores. Did you know that? Tata is in jewelry business.
They're in everything. I don't know what they're not in these days.
So they're in jewelry business. So what did they do? They made one nano from 80 kilograms of 22 karat gold, put in 15 kilograms of silver on it, put 10,000 semi-precious stones and gems, and then they're taking it to every jewelry stores, and you would think
it's the ultimate bling.
Ultimate bling. The car that cost $2,500, by the time they put all of that, cost $4.68 million. And they're going around to the jewelry stores. But, you know, there are so many people that have money. Some of them will say, okay, we'll buy it and put it in our living room.
Would you really drive your solid gold car on the streets of India? That's the question I have.
They will put it in the living room for one of the decorative pieces. How about that?
And for those of you who are Bollywood fans, there may soon be a familiar face back in Bollywood.
Yes.
This is someone I think that has sorely been missed on the Bollywood scene, and that is Madhuri Dixit. You know, she was quite the rage in the 1980s. I remember for a while all of the computer geeks out there had her as their desktop screensaver, right? She was definitely the most popular out there. Well, for 15 years she's been living here in the United States with her husband and her 2 children. She's been kind of living a low-key life. But now she's decided to go back home to India with her 2 kids and her husband because she thinks it's the right thing for her. She called this move preordained and that they were all very excited. It'd be good culturally for her kids to go back to India. Of course, you know, we're all wondering when she's going to make her big comeback debut in Bollywood. But I think, you know, she still has some charm, and I think she would add a lot of spice and heat back to the Bollywood scene if she were to return.
Know, she's not going to be the heroine, let's face it.
No, and I don't
she
think
will
we should
be a
expect
character actor like Amitabh Bachchan or somebody like that.
But you know, so many women have done this. Hema Malini did it very well. Rekha has done it very well. All these women who you would consider sort of the older genre of women, they have kept themselves in shape.
Yes.
They are making comebacks in the Indian movie industry, and I just laud her for trying to do the same thing.
I think that's good. Good for her. She was finally able to convince her husband, come on, you can do your medical practice over in India, too.
And if you're looking for Bollywood flicks to focus your attention on, here's one that is coming that is going to get a lot of attention, I guarantee you. Mere Brother Ki Dulhan. That's the name of the movie. I'm serious. It stars Imran Khan and Katrina Kaif, who's, of course, very, very popular in Bollywood right now. It's a lush-looking fantasy, and, of course, it's a high-end production with item numbers, and, of course, it also has 145 minutes of a wedding that was shot on screen. So, I mean,
wow.
This is going to give you everything formulaic that you could ask for in this movie, but I'm sure it'll be a big, sensational film. And I'm sure it'll make its way to the U.S. very shortly as well. Mere Brother Ki Dulhan.
I certainly would like to see the wedding scene.
Provocative title, right?
Yes.
And finally, folks, we would love for you to come out and see Vikram Mathur, who's a wonderful intern on Darshan here as well. He's going to be in a play that is directed by Amol Palekar called Khidkiyan. The play is taking place today at 4 p.m. and next Friday, so you have 2 chances to watch, and we certainly hope you'll enjoy seeing Vikram in his debut.
And Vikram is good. By the way, we call him intern, but he's not an intern. He's a professional.
I love his Bollywood analysis.
Well, folks, that's about all we have for you. Sincerely hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Namaste.